Alright, I'm here, guys. Welcome back. This is Dirk the Red Panda here with Password. And Password, we've been here for about 3 times now. This is our third run of Password in the past 2-3 weeks. Yeah, I've been running Password pretty dry, per se. And this time it was kind of by accident because somebody accidentally got me hooked onto the bad path, they call it, per se. Like, I talked with the password creator and they said it's not really a route because it also is in combination with said routes, like dating routes. So not only are we with Tyson for this bad route, but I shouldn't call it route. Shoot, I said it. But not only are we with Tyson, but we also are in an alternate universe, I guess you could call it, or an alternate path, where 2 of our friends got murdered. So, great. I wonder what would have happened if we had done Dean's instead. My god, that would be like 4 or 5 updates, but Jesus, we are just gonna stick with this. I'm going to finish Password tonight, and that is the last thing I'm going to do. Then I'll fall asleep. That will be the last thing I do. But yeah, so what's going to happen with it is it's hard to, I don't know why, for me it's hard to talk with headphones on. I feel like I just am like super off pitch whenever I have both earbuds on or both headphones on. I don't know, but anyway, so the plan is we're on day 11, part 2. It showed day 11 twice, like the day 11 CG image or whatever, like twice. So we got through that image twice, but basically all we have to do is finish out this day 11, and that is it for the day 11 update for the bad path. It's hard to keep saying the different names, but yeah, once I was talking with the creator, they were like, yeah, I'm figuring it all out on the fly, kind of, with some of this stuff. At least with the figuring out the paths and how they mingle, I guess, per se. Like, they definitely seem to have, like, a written, like, you know, idea of it, like a gist of it, maybe somewhat of an outline, but yeah, the actual implementation, yeah, haven't seen it, anything like it before, so I can't really explain it well. And then again, I'm only on like update 2 of my own VN, and I'm only like halfway done with it because I'm like writing one of the 2 main branches of the day, and I got like, what, 100 lines in, and I was like, I give up for now, and also tried to do homework before that, and then I gave up on that, so it's like I'm in a constant giving up state, which sucks, but you know, you sometimes need to take longer breaks even though you feel guilty about it. Just can't guilt trip yourself, that's a big thing. Alright, somebody just said, hello, second. Besides that, OMG, I've been waiting for this. Also, I just took my first art commission from a friend, so I'm gonna be excited working on that while watching this. Oh, that's so cool! That's so sweet. Man, I technically had an art commission back when. Like, I was doing it for a visual novel, but then I kind of quit the project because we had personal differences and just I was also getting burnt out of the novel and felt like they were demanding so much from me for the novel. So yeah, I technically had like one super long giant commission where I just did a bunch of art. I got paid for it in a lump sum. They tried to pay me monthly. Not a big fan of just the monthly payments. I want to be paid by character or something. Like, I want to have at least some established thing, or at least paid for like a bunch or something. Because I feel like if I do it monthly, then it's like I feel like I keep having to do a rate, and I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, that is to be expected. But yeah, it's exciting you're doing something for a friend and doing the commission. Definitely look forward to hearing about it or even seeing it. Alright, so Once again, I'm gonna have to type in the description how long I've been streaming. And of course, once again, the thumbnail never can get uploaded through Streamlabs, so I always have to do it through YouTube. So I'll be zipping through that right now as I once again explain that I am basically just playing the end of day 11's path D or C. It's something like that. I think it's path D. Like, they weren't too specific when I talked to them. Once again, I'm talking about the creator of Password. I've DM'd them on Discord and asked about stuff. Hope you guys like the thumbnail. It's a sad face. Or at least it's a character with a sad face. Okay, blah blah blah. What else? I think that's about it. And save. Ah, my leg just did a cracking noise. I'm old. Oh, that's so cool of you to say. Is it Emerald? Emerald Ishak? Hi, I love your vids. That's sweet of you. And I know the person above has a Greek name, and I know what some of the letters are because I'm a mathematician. I have to know all the damn Greek letters. But they have a, I'm not sure if that's like a smirk face or a sad face, but or they're pointing above something. Oh, have no fear, Sassy is here. It's right above them, so I guess they're pointing to Sassy. Hello, Sassy. So, anyway, I completely lost track of what I was originally going to do and type in the description that we are going to start at a certain time. Table of contents. Maybe that will work for when the video is like archived, I guess, or well, not like archived, but you know what I mean, like when it's saved and technically had been fully recorded on the YouTube site. So yeah, I don't know how it works while I'm live, but it's whatever. So we are going to start with the bad route, and we'll end with it too, technically. So I called it the nightmare route. I should change it to nightmare path. I have to retype it. Ugh. Nightmare path / Tyson route. I can't spell. Alright. So we are all gonna die. That's the motto of this nightmare path, so here we go. I'm just here for a few. Still need to catch up on this VN. Okay. It's great to see you here though. And this would be the worst place to catch up on because this is like a branching off of one of the routes that I normally do. So you'd be lost, I bet. Yeah. Start from the beginning where my reading skills aren't that good. Alright, here we go. 9.5 minutes in. Let's go. Scary music continues. Here we go. We're family. Someone's gonna look out for you, and I'll be damned if it's not going to be me. Isn't that going a bit far? No, I suppose it makes sense. Honestly, just having someone that's keeping it together is helping. And if someone's at least looking out for someone else among us. He said it. He said the... I'm not gonna do it. Sorry, I had to make an Among Us joke. Way to kill the mood, Dirk. Anyway. And if someone's at least looking out for someone else among us, that's something to relax a bit about, right? I zoned out as they continued to talk. The bread in my hands was soft, and while it was only a single slice, my body was torn between eating it for sustenance versus throwing it up from the pit of my stomach. Trembling, I devoured it, figuring that forcing it down fast was better than thinking about it so much. Still, I felt slightly worse once it was gone. Looking to Ty, he gave me a nod and wandered over to the coffee machine. Well, I think this is as good of a time as any to talk about a plan, right? Oh, maybe. What is there to even do? The first thing is securing a way out, right? Landslide is going to get in the way of that. So checking out that is one thing we need to do today, huh? Step 1, push Landslide over. What about Sal? Shouldn't we ask him about what happened? You can for all I care. Dave, you ain't going near him. But why not? You're not going near him. Got it? He could do what he wants. But I kind of get why you'd say that. It's dangerous, right? Really? Really? I'm sorry. Couldn't hold that one back. Honestly, I'm not sure if Nico could be denser than Orlando in this moment. Hell, we don't have enough to go off of. Once again, I'm about to get hit with a brick of density. Who knows what could happen if we went and talked to him? No telling where he even went, right? I guess that's true. He went out of the front door and I haven't seen him since. If he's planning on coming back, then chances are he'll get hungry at some point. We can lock him in the freezer or something until the cops arrive if we have to. Everybody's making me turn and look at them like, oh shit, we've all gone off the rails. Here we go. The freezer? Yeah. You know, the cold thingy, the cold box, the hot begone box, the freezer. I think that might do a bit more than just detaining him. We'd be better off, God, I don't know, isolating him somewhere else. Don't care. So long as he's out of the way is fine by me. What if we open the vault? Okay, Landslide. Sal. But what about... God, they don't know, but I know. God. Or, well, some of us knew if we played Day 13 on the previous episode. God. I gestured behind me, hopping. I gestured behind me, hoping the others would clue in. Shit, yeah. Can't leave him like that, huh? Can't just leave him like that, huh? Glad to know I wasn't the only one considering that. Not being able to get in contact with the police or an ambulance makes dealing with it harder. Burial is out too, I'm guessing. Plus, you also have to make sure you're not suspicious looking at being the murderer or having any blood on you because of, having to pull the bodies and getting the blood on you. There's a lot going into this, and holy shit, we just opened up a can of worms. Or we should say 2 bodies, but that's a previous episode. Of course. That's not a revolutionary, of course. Never mind. Of course. I'm not just going to leave them here. No one's leaving anyone behind, Dave. But we gotta do something about them. Right? Well... We all looked to Orlando, who seemed to be considering something. If there are no other options, we might be able to keep him in the freezer. right? Are you fucking serious? That was my idea, damn it! I'm suing!
I guess it makes sense, but is that safe? Is that, I don't know, proper?
All things considered, I think that's the best option we have, right? What? You're planning on bagging them up and keeping them there to stay fresh? Oh god. Ugh. We're like, okay, let's not put the alive person in the freezer. Let's put the dead person in the freezer. Or dead people. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember that. God, if we have to revert to cannibalism in this, I am going to have to, like, not even, like, play this online. Like, this would have to be completely off. Like either at Patreon exclusive, probably, if anything. Like, if it got that vulgar. Yeah. This could really run into some awkward territories. Here we go. What, you're planning on bagging them up and keeping them there to stay fresh? Yeah, kinda. It works for meat, and if I'm being honest, it's not the first time this has come up. Okay. Okay, the fuck do you mean this isn't your first time? You see, a lot of my family's line of work, Tyson. You learn to... you witness... Haas, could you please help?
I could make a guess at if that's what you're looking for.
Orlando breathed in deep, rounding his hand through his mane. Funny enough, this is the first route of mine, technically, where we actually get to find out what Orlando's family background is. They kind of hint and nudge at it in the Foreign Affairs collab with Tennis Ace. Well, the Password Tennis Ace collab type of VN, which is only like one day. It's like a little one-off. But yeah, you get little hints at it, but nothing like serious like this. But at the same time, you also get to know about kind of Keisuke's background with his family situation too, and they both are like, oh, we can relate to having family controlling us. But yeah. Are you sure? Orlando didn't get Dean killed. I don't think. I mean, Dean just kind of just tried to save, like, Roswell, I thought. Or, well, I mean, Orlando, I guess, but at the same time, it's like, this is so tough. God, it makes you wonder what would happen if you were with Dean for his route. Like, what would happen if Dean died, but you're on the Dean route? It's crazy. Here we go. Orlando breathed in deep, running his hand through his mane. It's better if I do it, I think. Just to make sure no one's assuming anything wrongly. My family, the Noble family, are an organized crime syndicate with me being the heir. Oh god, he said it. He actually said it. Oh, it continues. Jesus Christ. So, when it comes to dealing with bodies, well, not me, or my parents, or grandparents. Someone had to deal with them, and you learn. Oh god, I gulped, staring at Orlando. All this time, he'd been involved in crime, whereas I just assumed his parents were bankers or that he was fairly wealthy. But this has explained some things. There was always a banging in Orlando's basement every time I came over for dinner. So, when I wasn't allowed to come over anymore, or when I forgot your birthday, oh god, just imagining, like, you're coming with me, kid. You forgot Orlando's birthday. You forgot the son of the noble's birthday. You have to pay up, kid. Fuck over the money. Okay, I got like, I don't know, $50 for his birthday? More, fuck it over. Fine, I'll give you my credit card too. Just like, oh god, why am I like this? Somebody just posted on Twitter that before I saw this video, like to quote an Eminem quote you say all the time. And the quote I say all the time in my head is, "My thoughts are sporadic, I act like I'm an addict." And that honestly describes me in a nut. That describes me in a nut. In a nutshell. Also, stuttering. Words vomiting, legs spaghetti, whatever the lines were. Here we go. So, when I wasn't allowed to come over anymore, or when I forgot your birthday, I paled, overcome with a sense of dread. Oh, Dave, no. It's not like that. Sure, Dad found out that your dad was a cop. I thought his dad was like a salaryman, like banker, not even a banker, but just a business cubicle guy. What is even happening? Oh no, Dave, it's not like that. Sure, Dad found out that your dad was a cop, and that's why you weren't allowed over, but I wouldn't say you specifically are in any danger. Oh god, now I have to think about how my novel where it's like one of my main character's parents is a cop. Why must all my novels be accidentally tied in some sort of parallel to each other? Oh god. Anyway. He better not be. He isn't. I will set my dad on fire before I let him touch Dave. Oh god. I felt a strange mix of flattered and terrified and took a step back. Ty sighed out, rubbing his face. Fine. So there's that. So we have a plan for those two. But I ain't moving them if I don't have to. I'm checking out the landslide first to see if there's a way out. So Dave, get your ass ready and we'll head on over. Wait, what? I'm not letting you out of my sight. If I'm going, you're coming too. But what if I don't want to go? We're not arguing about this. You're coming even if I have to drag you myself. Okay, it's fine. Let's all just go down together. That would be fine, right? I suppose sticking together would be the safest option, and the only time in a horror movie that characters have ever done so. Yeah, right. I looked between the others, feeling tense. Tyson was being protective, which was nice in that it put me at ease, but at the same time, he was starting to frighten me a little. Let me know if I'm like too far from the mic, like with this method. I might scoot in a bit closer, try my best. But yeah, when I get a new mic, I'll do like a better setup with like an actual mic to place it on like a prop box or something. I'm pointing my boxes off to the side. So yeah, for now I just have my iPhone on a tissue box. So until the holidays come around, / my birthday, which is like in the same month. It's coming up in like a couple of weeks. I'm not saying the specific day, but all I can say is that it's like the first week of December. I won't specify my actual birth date because then I feel like people would just start trying to dox me with it, and it could happen. I get doxed. That would be hella scary. But yeah, if anybody was curious. Anyway. Well, I guess we better go, huh? Interesting time to ask what my favorite character is. Honestly, I would have to say at this point, Tyson would be my favorite character besides Dave. Like, Dave is like god tier. He's god amongst mortals in this story. Like, Loki, it's like all the sympathy and emotion just went into Dave. But the supporting cast members are, not too far behind, but they're definitely fit as side characters. Maybe I could see Orlando having like a main story like fit around him, but maybe even Tyson, but the others I just can't see having like main stories around. But yeah. Let's continue. Ty didn't give us much time to get ready, instead leading us along towards the main road. The way forward was familiar from having trekked it during the night, but something about it being the middle of the day made it feel safer. Come on, keep walking. He'd occasionally grab me by the hand and give me a tug to hurry me along. He was stressed, maybe worried, and his scowl was just putting on a brave face.
Not much farther. At least I think so.
We'd been walking for a while, and I remembered about how long the drive was from the main road and the front of the house. We passed through the spot I'd stopped to rest on for my own walk ages ago, but the path seemed to continue on. So what's the plan when we get to the main road? I guess call for help? See what's happening? Rock climbing? No? Nobody? Okay. And Officer Fur had said, I've never seen anybody play this. I don't think anybody has played this bad ending, and that's why I kind of got curious and was like, I'm doing this for the sake of the community. No, I'm kidding, but I kind of did it just out of like, nobody else was doing it, and I thought it might as well be a good like placeholder for, without having to start over on like day 4 or whatever, and like starting from the beginning with a new character route. Might as well delve into the game's like unique endings, because it's not super cut out in routes where it's like, oh, you do route A and it's like route A is good or bad, or route B is good or bad. This is like you have like an A, B, C, D path, like all these different paths combined with the character routes of dating like Orlando or Tyson or Dean or Roswell or Sal or did I say Tyson? Jesus. Orlando, Haas, Tyson, Sal, Dean, Roswell, whoever those people are, but yeah. It's like you also get a combination of that, and I'm not sure if those individual like routes also play some but not 100% mixture into it. There seems to be some sort of a dependency. I would get super mathematical about talking about it, but let's just say there's not an independence to the routes, and it makes it so much more interesting that it probably has a lot of playability. Even if I'm not the one 100%ing it or doing all this crazy stuff, it's fun to see what would happen if I didn't make the right decision at this point and just skewed the entire path, but it's something that could have applied to all the other paths. Like, what if I screwed day 10 over for everybody? Yeah, Torin, I would definitely say, like, to check the previous episode for context, because this is the version where I do Tyson's route, but I also fail day 10, as in I don't get the password, I reveal Oswin, like, on day 8. So the person that revealed it is not here, but I've also been told to kind of keep an eye out just in case they make any false claims. So, not gonna specify, but yeah. Anyway, I guess call for help? See what's happening?
Right. I've been checking my phone occasionally until I see we have reception again. So far, nothing.
is that normal? I mean, we're on a mountain, right? And again, we also, on day 6 or 7, when we have each of the individual character routes, like, bad endings, they also have phone reception on those days when they call the police for, like, when somebody dies. It's like, oh no, the character I'm dating died on day 7 or 6, whatever it is, but we always manage to get the police in those. At least in the Dean and Tyson ones that I played, so. Yeah, it's like, is it like an every other day thing? Like, kind of like, depends on how good the broadband is, or whatever the technical term is. It's probably kind of like using Bluetooth when you're in the other room, going to the bathroom or something, and you're listening to your computer in the other room. It kind of cuts in and out, maybe on some days, completely turns off on others. I don't know. Jack had something to do with the murders, come on. At least with Oswin being murdered. He wasn't responsible for... Well, maybe he could have been responsible for hypnotizing Sam, being like, screw everybody over, kill everybody, and then Sam's like, okay, and then, I don't know, but he's at least responsible for Oswin's murder. Like, that knife is pretty similar to his. And unless he just told Sal to kill Oswin too and just didn't use his own knife, and just decided to save that knife for himself to kill other people with, then I don't know. I mean, it was kind of hard to see the knife too. That it looked like the grooves of Jack's, but the size of it looked pretty big. Like, Jack's knife was like more of a handheld, but like a little bit bigger than handheld because of the proportions. But the knife in Oswin was like, looked more like the decorative one that he described on the day 8, if you played the last episode with me. Except for Roswell and Tyson, but Tyson was outside of the house and he might have mistaken Roswell for Oswin. Tyson's not responsible for it. Like, that's the thing. It seems like Tyson's with you, so Tyson's safe. He's not sus. This is becoming a game of Among Us. Literally, I made a joke of Among Us like 10 minutes ago, so I better continue before I spend 5 hours just making Among Us jokes about password. Here we go. We're on a mountain, right? Tyson slowed down, huffing and grumbling out an answer. Something like that. Bus drove up the mountain to get here. But fuck if I know which one or where.
Don't worry, I've got that sorted. Doesn't mean much if I can't contact anyone, though.
Is that likely?
Well, it is strange that I'm getting no reception whatsoever. Sometimes it can be a bit spotty the further away from civilization you get, but we shouldn't be that far out from the city for it to matter that much.
Oh my god, now that somebody says Jack is sus, that makes me think Jack cut the power lines. Or at least the cell phone reception lines. Telephone poles, whatever the frick they're called, but you know what I mean. He probably cut off any sort of cellular connection or an internet type of connection with telephone poles so that they couldn't call. Even if the electricity is still working, so maybe Jack can power up some like toaster or something to throw in a bathtub or some crazy thing to kill somebody. I don't know, but he probably was like, I'm keeping the electricity, but let me cut off any communication so I can keep Oswin or whoever else stuck here, and then just have everybody in the house basically cave in on themselves, go crazy, you know, that type of stuff. The main antagonist is death, nature, and crazy people. Yep, that is password for you. Anyway, let's keep going.
Sometimes it can be a bit spotty the further away from civilization you get, but we shouldn't be that far out from the city for it to matter that much.
Do you think something's messing with it somehow?
What do you mean?
You can't mess with that kind of shit, can you? You know, I mean, you got 5G, man, and that stuff causes the V word, or the C word, the CVIRUS word. Oh, God. Anyway.
You can. But question would be why?
Why would you even know about that, Haas?
Also, I am a murderer who is part of a crime syndicate.
Realizes he's a part of Orlando's crime syndicate.
Speaking from experience, it's more difficult unless you really go all in. There's no reason to do that here, right?
Oh no. Not unless... What? What if it was to assassinate me? That could make sense, like, instead of it just being like, oh, let's stabby Orlando and then move on. Or no, not stabby Orlando. Rather than just stabby Oswin and then move on. I could see why the landslide. Maybe it's like the Hammonds... Yes, because the Hammonds and the Nobles have some sort of tie. Because when we talk to Oswin and like the good and other routes from like day 10s and whatnot, or day 11, or 12, or whatever the day is, basically the one where he tries to tell us about metempsychosis, he also mentions, because we talk about Orlando, he's like, oh yeah, I took a sample of like his father's DNA or some crap, but I also know the Noble family well, like our families know each other. So maybe the Jack is trying to assassinate both families, and it's like getting a 2-for-1, and he's trying to get something out of both. Like, what part would the Nobles play that Orlando has not let on or know? And same for Oswin if he wouldn't have been murdered, but you know, like what are they not letting us on? This is intriguing, but I'm too stupid to actually understand. He is too innocent and cute to be sus. I mean, yeah. Crap, I need to attach the link of my March Madness stuff. Like, I always need to, like, do my... okay, I do have the description there. I don't have the March Madness links, but I thought I almost forgot to put the entire, like, description of other stuff in there, but... When I get a break, or there's some sort of scene break, I'll paste that in there, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video, because in about a month or so, I'll get more serious about it and cut off the number of candidates. Somebody suggested it, and I was like, no, I want as many candidates as possible, and then got kinda salty about it in my head, because I was like, I want as many people in it as we could recommend, but realizing that is too much of a mess on my Google Forms and just takes too much time for people to even scroll through, I'm gonna limit it to 200 candidates per category, of course, because there's like 70 in like the non-VN and 170 in the VN. And 5 in the best girl category. I need best girl suggestions, but shoot, this is not the time to talk about it, Dirk. I need to take some of my focus juice. It's just water. Okay, what did you do? Nothing, honest.
Is this because of your family?
I mean, it makes sense, right? This is the perfect spot for getting rid of me, given we're helpless and alone.
This is also making me think about how you have Tennis Ace, the game that collabed with Password for a one-off. The Case K, who's part of a rich, esteemed family, he always has to have a bodyguard around him when he's not at school. Or, well, tennis practice, but you know what I mean. Like, not around school campus grounds. Like, he always has to have his bodyguard, not Richard, Alex, around. Like, he always needs to have Alexander around, like, you know, as security. Why doesn't Orlando have that, and how did he get away to, like... I mean, it would be sus to have that, or at least not have somebody who is, like, oh, I'm always a friend of Orlando's, I must always be with him, like, you know, somebody that's appear his age as like a bodyguard per se, but still, that just seems really weird to be like, as somebody as part of a syndicate, to just let one of your members be so free like this, especially going to a mansion in the middle of nowhere that nobody really knows about besides Roswell, which now is... Yeah. Anyway. It'd make perfect sense, right? This is the perfect spot for getting rid of me, given we're helpless and alone. Tyson roughly grabbed Orlando and shook him. Let me make two things real clear. First is, if this is all because of you, I'm ditching you the first chance I get and taking everyone else with me. Die alone and leave us out of it. Tyson! You shut the fuck up now, Dave. I'm not talking to you right now. He turned back to Orlando, spittle flying out of his mouth like I just did right now. Fuck. And second, and listen real closely, if you think Dean and Roswell died in some fucked up attempt to kill you, get over yourself. Roughly, he threw Orlando back into Haas and turned to march off. He didn't even bother to drag me along with him. Orlando was a mess, trembling and bawling as he tried to stay standing on his own feet. Haas glared daggers into Tyson's back for a few moments before consoling Orlando with something barely whispered to him. Whatever it was, it seemed to do the trick. Looking to Ty, though, he looked tense, marching forward with his arms almost completely rigid with his fists clenched tight. If he was protected, then that would bring so much attention to Orlando. Yeah, like, there's that, but you feel like there would be some sort of, like, at least even GPS tracking, even, oh shit, if they cut off the power. But even then, if they had, like, a GPS or something attached to Orlando, like, to his phone or something, wouldn't they have, like, tracked it down to the mansion and at least been around it? Not, like, on the premises, but at least around it in case anything happened. And once the Wi-Fi, internet, 5G, whatever crap got cut off, maybe with that, then it would have been like, that would have triggered them and be like, he's off the grid, and then they just like start to try and save him. I wonder if that's how this might end. Like maybe Orlando's like, mafia syndicate people are gonna save us. That would be one hell of an ending. Yes, give the poor dragon a kiss. He deserves it. Whatever it was, it seemed to do the trick. Looking to Ty, though, he looked tense, marching forward with his arms almost completely rigid with his fists clenched tight. Decisions, man. God damn. This is the Tyson route, so... I mean, I hate to be a dick, but... Somebody says, like, the person who said give the poor dragon a kiss, now I'm like, nope, I feel terrible. I'm gonna chase after Tyson. So, we need to calm down Tyson. Here we go. Orlando seemed like he'd be okay, but Ty on the other hand? Ty, come back! I left the other two behind, chasing after Ty, who didn't slow down even after I called to him. His pace was faster than before, and he kept his eyes trained straight forward. Number one rule of Password, don't leave anyone alone for a second. True. Ty? Shut up. I blinked, faltering in my steps to stay next to him and quickly recovered. Did I do something wrong, Ty? What did I just say? I kept quiet, the pair of us just walking for a few minutes longer. The other two hadn't caught up yet, and I was starting to worry. Tyson seemed to be calming down a little, and as I was to check,
or as I went to check, he spoke and beat me to it. Sorry. It's okay. He grunted, and we walked for a couple of minutes more in silence. It's really not. You didn't do anything wrong. Right. We stopped for a bit, with Tyson scratching his head. This whole thing, right? It's fucked. It's fucked. I'm stressed, worried, angry, and just... What? Well, I need to keep you safe. I gotta. But you don't think that it was one of them, do you? Oh, don't you dare plant that seed in his head. He's gonna take it full steering wheel and just yoink it that way. Keep it on, outsiders. They were all around and witnessed the murder. God, I don't fucking know. But if it was... But Sal... And... Tyson looked me over. He seemed tense, serious. But I couldn't tell if he was more worried or angry when he spoke next. Sal. Yeah, no brainer there. And if he's not the only one, then what? But Ty! I kept my voice, I didn't say it out loud, but Ty! I kept my voice hushed, throwing a glance over my shoulder to see if the other two were catching up. They're my friends! His response was cold, holding eye contact with me. Sal was your friend? I didn't have a thought to finish. Was Sal my friend? Or at least would he still be after killing both Dean and Roswell? Right. I guess you're right. Ty nodded and took my hand. Leading me forward. Now me. I'm someone you can lean on, pup. His hand tightened slightly, and while he didn't smile, he did give me a quick look before turning forward again. Promise, you know why, right? No? He sighed, shaking his head. Then I'll tell you later. I stopped, holding tight to Ty's hand to force him to stop as well. Tell me now. If I do, will you keep moving? Sure. Last time I saw your dad, he made a promise I would. Or he made me promise I would. While my grip on Tyson's hand loosened in shock, my heart was sinking. His tightened and he tugged me forward slightly. Look, it sucks, but I promised him I would. Not sure if he was being serious, and chances are he was just messing with me, but that's all I've got right now. So come on. We have a thing to check out if we want to bail from here. I sighed out, nodding a little but not budging. Sorry? I regretted pushing now, as bringing Dad to the forefront of my mind and adding that into the mix made my stomach churn. If I'd actually seen him in my dream last night, I might have broken down then and there. It took a little more coaxing, but before we continued on and eventually hit the main road. As we stepped out from the driveway, it opened up, the surrounding mountains rising and falling around us. We were high up, with the far edge of the road ending in a sheer cliff. Whoa. I wandered around a little, seeing it all for the first time. It was a shame I missed this on the drive to get here,
But still. Tyson was off looking at a large pile of rubble obstructing the road. Haas went to join him, leaving me with Orlando. It looks bad, huh? Nodding, I looked past Orlando to the rubble. It was also in huge chunks, having not only blocked the path, but also taking huge chunks out of the road too. Do you think help will be able to arrive? Maybe. I guess we'll just have to see what Haas and Tyson find, huh? Sorry about that. They were already making their way over, Haas in particular looking grim. This can't be right. Dave, you have your phone on you, right? Can you see if you're getting any signal? I fished my phone out of my pocket and checked it. Low battery, but it was clear and that I didn't have any signal either. But why? It's because you have AT&T, you dummy. You should have had Sprint. Or Verizon, or whatever other signal company. If only they had Verizon. No, I'm kidding. Anyway. But why? Well, that sucks. The road is fucked too. That landslide has busted the road up, so climbing over looks like it'd be a sure way to fall to your death. But that would mean we're trapped. Really? Is there no other way off the mountain? Ty seemed to think of it, but his expression quickly turned grim. Unless there's a way through the forest, we're stuck. Really? But where? How would we know which way to go? Oh god, we're gonna have to meet Jack in the forest. Oh no! No! Oh, this is gonna get worse. Does it look like I know? But we can probably safely guess that Sal didn't come this way either. Right. He gets stuck here too, huh? But does that mean he ran into the forest? That makes it even scarier. You had somebody who killed two of your friends in the middle of the forest, and a guy who's actually a murderer in the forest. Great. Sal. Okay, so things might be looking bad, but at least we have some things going right. We have shelter, food, so necessities are set. 1 hour later. Just insanity pursues. Oh god. Or ensues, whatever the word is. If you want to see all the passwords, I think you'd have to look through all my videos. God, I would have to make a full freaking compilation for the passwords. OMG, Jack finna kill more people, just watch. I am scared for that. Okay, everything's still working. Alright, continue. So, necessities are set. Sure, but that doesn't... I trailed off and Ty threw an arm over my shoulder. We can make do. I'll keep you safe, Dave. Aw. That made me feel better. But I caught Orlando looking anxious, also looking for the same sort of reassurance. When it became clear that Tyson wasn't going to offer the same towards him, he looked to Haas. I swear to God this is going to become Tyson and Dave versus Orlando and Haas based on that last decision we made. That's probably what this is going to come down to. Our choice of who we stick with is going to be how the people are going to divide into groups at the end, like once everybody goes crazy. Anyway, you look to Haas. We'll be fine, right? Huh? Oh, right. Yeah. If we stick together, we'll be all right. Here we go. Time to go into the stabby woods. We start to head back to the house with Tyson leading the way. He wasn't pulling me forward by the hand anymore, but I stuck close anyway. Orlando and Haas pulled up the rear, with Orlando lagging further behind. Every time I looked back to check on him, he seemed dejected, tired from everything that was happening. The house was quiet. When we arrived here for the first time, we looked upon the house with awe, excited to be here. But now... Jackie Myers. Oh, God. That'd be awful. Anyway. Well, we're back. Do you think Sal is around here somewhere? Fucker probably has holed up somewhere if he still is in the woods. Doesn't matter all that much. Does that mean the only thing left to do is go inside? I guess so. Huh? Well, I want to go find Sal. Probably better that someone keeps tabs on it if he moves, right? Reckon you'll be all right by yourself? It should be fine. And those were the last words he ever said to us. Not that I have much of an option, but knowing where he is at least gives us an informed person in case anything goes wrong. What about you, Tyson? I don't fucking know. I need to get my head straight about everything. Might go find a weapon or something. Oh boy. Isn't that a little extreme? Not going to be caught without one in case someone else comes up. Tyson would be the person who backs the stand your ground law. Like, he gives me those vibes, and that's unfortunate. So, not going to be caught without one of those, or without one in case something else comes up. I felt him look my way, and I quickly looked to the road and the ground, which the road was on. I was flattered, but hearing him so resolved that it was a potential thing that could happen again started to get to me. Fine. Good luck finding one, I guess. Ty headed inside after grunting once in reply. Alright, I guess I'll head around to the house and meet up with you guys later, right? You two going to be okay for a bit? I think so. I was eyeing the door, already knowing what I was keen on doing. We'll be fine, I think. With a nod, Haas turned to leave, watching Orlando carefully. Then he disappeared around the side of the house and out of sight. That left Orlando and I standing just before the front door, stealing glances at one another. You want to see them, huh? You want to see them, huh? Is it that obvious? Of course it was. You have a lot of love for them, so it's only natural. But you don't think I should. It's not that. I'm just concerned that you'll be stuck there and I won't be able to move you. I just want the closure, I think.
I want a chance to say goodbye. While the words that came out of my mouth felt hollow, what I felt in my chest was more so. I lied to his face about how I was feeling, and he knew it too. Still, he didn't say anything. He just nodded before the two of us went inside. Orlando and I crossed the threshold into the foyer, and I sighed out. The smell of blood still lingered in the air. Nowhere near as strong, but nowhere near as strong, but it was a reminder of what had happened the night before. Not that it would...
Subscriber.
Oh god, that actually scared me. Somebody subscribed, and that was Pedro Total. Thanks for subscribing to me, Pedro Total. That is something that can happen if you either donate money, if you subscribe to me, or send me a super chat. Let me see if the setting is on, just in case anybody wanted to. Oh, it's off. Oh. I'm just going to turn those off for now. Okay. So, where am I? The super chat is on in case anybody wants to. Or show your support. So, while we have that little break, I'm going to pull up the March Madness thing. Alright. And back to password, and I'm gonna paste this. Okay. Don't worry, I won't take that long. I'm almost done. There we go, it worked. This should save. Best Girl is technically not up, but feel free to suggest candidates for Best Girl through the other two categories. So, this is a mid-roll ad, and my mid-roll ad is March Madness. Coming out sometime late February, early March. Still need jury members. I have about 3 or 4 that I can guarantee. Maybe 5, including me. But, yeah, I want to get maybe at least a 10-member jury. Just so or 10, yeah, maybe even 8 is fine. 10, 8, 9, 10. Like, yeah, I'd probably say 9's optimal plus me. Actually, no. Never mind. Whatever the other 2 things I said. But anyway, 8 or 10 plus me. So let's continue. If anybody wants to access the polls, they are the other 2 best, like, non-VN and VN categories are up and running. So, not that we needed it given this red smear on the tiles. It was dry as far as I could tell, but cleaning it was still wasn't something that I was keen on doing. Together we paused as we got closer, my eyes following it into the adjoining room. I'm gonna... just in case the sensor bar is coming up. Taking Orlando's hand in mine, we entered the sitting room. Or the sitting room. Okay, nothing yet. The scent of blood was thick in the air, strong enough to blot out anything else. Carefully, I stepped forward. I knew there was where I was heading mostly on smell alone, even if I couldn't see both of them placed on the back of the floor. or even by the trail of blood that had been left in their wake as they'd been dragged to their resting places. Orlando followed behind, and the two of us stopped next to Roswell first. Between the two of them, he was the one placed closer to the door, but making that walk felt like I'd walk a mile to reach him from where I'd entered the room. Roswell. I looked down to his face, and if it wasn't for the large wound in his neck and shoulder, he'd look like he was sleeping. Maybe sick, maybe a little cold, but definitely in need of a bath. Dave, are you okay? Sitting down next to Roswell, I crossed my legs, croaking out a reply. I'm fine. The smell of his blood was sickening, making my stomach churn. I was surprising myself by how well I was coping from not losing my breakfast then and there, seeing the combination of wound and the smell. Orlando sat down next to me and kept himself for a bit longer while I tried to decide on if I wanted to check Roswell's pulse. I knew I wouldn't get anything, but there was some part of me that hoped in some way he'd still be alive. You know my favorite memory of Roswell? I remember one time he called Haas out for not liking something I had made. Cookies, I think. But he made it a huge lecture on snack foods until Haas had to bribe him with candy to make him stop talking. That's your favorite memory of Roswell? Sums him up, pretty much. I think so. He wasn't that well written of a character. No, I'm kidding. He's a fine-written character. I did not... Raimi is gonna kill me for saying that. Oh, God. He's fine. I just had to make a jab at him. Yeah, that was his only redeeming quality. He would lecture people. Anyway. We love Roswell. I think so. It was just very him, right? That he'd use his intelligence to both defend something important to me, but also to trick someone into giving him something he wanted. But I don't think it ever came from a bad place, right? He'd always toe that line between taking it too far, but he always meant well. I nodded slowly, thinking it over. I think my favorite memory of Roswell was the very first day we met. It happened so long ago, and we were both so young, but if that never happened, we would have never become friends. I don't think that, Dave. I'm sure you would have crossed paths at some point, right? You were neighbors. Maybe. But that day is still special to me. Stealing another look at Roswell, I cracked a smile, if a weak one. Okay, I'm going to turn off the censor bars. Turns out we don't need them for now, and if anything comes up, I'll try and do it as quick as I can. I cracked a smile, if a weak one. Thank you for that day, Roswell. Getting up, I wandered over to Dean and sat down the same way. I noticed Orlando hesitated for a moment, but he came and joined me in the same way he did before. I knew Dean pretty well, I think. Better than I did, that's for sure. I nodded slowly, reaching out and touching his arm. Maybe it was just that he was larger in stature than Roswell, but his injury didn't seem nearly as bad. He was a good friend. Confusing sometimes, but a good friend. Confusing? How? I don't know. I think it was like I sighed out, running a hand through my fur. Tyson and I went out every now and again for like a road trip or something to get me out of the house, right? But Dean probably did that more. Really? But then, about you two dating? Excuse me? Flashing him a smile, I looked back to Dean. Dean always kept saying it wasn't a date because of one thing or another. Either something went wrong or that it didn't go exactly how he pictured it. Or someone else came along too. But if I'm being honest, part of me thinks they were. Maybe not all of them, but enough to make me wonder if we'd been dating and I'd just been too dumb to realize it. Really, I would have thought if that came to... Really, I would have thought if it came to something like that, he'd be more... I don't know, forward? Nah, he's been a bit backward about it. Yeah, maybe. I clenched my fists as they rested in my lap. I felt stupid and I'd never know the answer because of what happened. Hey, Orlando? I'm sorry to ask this, but, the words were hard, and I found myself choking them out on the verge of tears from where I'd worked myself up to. What is it? Can I have a couple of minutes alone with them just for a second? It won't be long. I just... He stood, hands twitching in uncertainty. Okay, I'll just wait outside. If anything happens, I'll call the cops. The sentiment trailed off there, replaced instead by an affirming nod as he wandered towards the door. Take as long as you need. Okay? Orlando closed the door to the room, and no sooner had it closed, I heard him sobbing, collapsing against the wall just outside the door. But then, something in me snapped. Something that clicked into place suddenly that made all of my sadness ease off all at once. This wasn't my fault. None of this was my fault. Thanks about the password, VN. Thanks about the passwords. Oh god, we got eerie music. Oh boy. None of this was my fault. There was a spot on the floor that I started to focus on as my mind started to wander. It wasn't my fault. My hands flexed, tensing, and relaxing as a new feeling started to replace the sadness as I remained in that room. Oh god, he's gonna kill Sal. Hold him back. Sal's fault. Yep. It was Sal. My fists clenched. Soon after, my jaw followed, then the growling, the frown next. Sal took them away. Sal killed them. Stepping out of the room, I closed the door behind me. Maybe it was the smell of blood, but I was in a daze, focusing in on the sole thing that seemed to be my problem. Or the problem. Sorry, Dave. I'll be okay. He'd resorted to wiping his face with the bottom of his shirt, and he stood to face me. Dave, what's wrong? You're growling. I looked through him towards the rest of the house, wondering if I could pick up Sal's scent somewhere to see where he could have gone, given he wasn't at the main road. No telling if he was even here, but if he was, I'd find him.
Lando grabbed me roughly and shook me by the shoulders. Dave, snap out of it! What happened? Sal. Sal? What about Sal? I thought about it over my head. There was a solution, a permanent one, and at the moment I was blinded to all other possibilities and all sense of reason. I'm going to kill him! You can't! His grip on me tightened, as if trying to stop me from trying. I'm not going to let you make that mistake. I'm not going to let you put yourself in that sort of danger. He killed 2 of our friends, Orlando. He killed them. I know. But think about what you're saying. I'm just as upset as you. Maybe you're more upset than me, maybe, but still. I'm not about to resort to killing someone over this. Trust me, please. Oh God, I just heard myself voice crack in my own headphones. Oh dear God. He flashed me a quick smile before easing off enough to just keep one hand on my shoulder. You don't want this. Amidst the growling, I spat my reply in a cold tone. One that I'd only ever seen a couple of times from other people. None of which good. You don't know what I fucking want. I shoved him away, my heart racing and breathing in deep. Dave, please. Once he's dead, once it's done, then what? The question made me pause. If you kill Sal, or try to anyway, what happens if you get killed instead? Jesus Christ, this is like the splash zone. Holy crap, I'm sorry guys. What if he killed you instead? I looked to Orlando, waiting to see if he had any follow-up. And if you died? I'd be sad. Imagine what Tyson would do. He'd try killing Sal and either go to jail or die to Sal as well. My heart sank, resolve crippled but not dead. Killing just creates more killing. It creates more sadness, Dave. I've seen so much of it in my family, and it always ends up this way. I want a life free of that. I want to be a baker, or someone so far removed from bloodshed that I never have to consider running into it. Then what, Orlando? What do you expect me to do? He gulped, unsure of where to put his hands once they'd been removed from me entirely. His reply came as a timid whisper, eyes darting to the floor. I don't know. But please, maybe just try talking with him. You want me to talk with him? Yes, I do. I get that you're hurting. We're all hurting. But if you have any respect for me, or even the friendship you had with Sal, you'd at least talk with him first before deciding to execute him yourself. He's not my friend after what he did. Do you really think that, Dave? Do you really think that Sal would would have just done that without a reason? I gritted my teeth, fighting desperately to stay mad. But I broke. Sighing out and the madness faded away into a dull throb. Fine. I'll talk to him first. Thank you. Pulls out a mini axe. But if he admits to having done it on purpose, I don't know what I'll do. Hopefully it won't come to that. I'm going to start by searching the pool. I think Haas would have checked there first, given that's where he spent a lot of time. If he's not there, I'll come back inside after checking the greenhouse. Okay. Just be careful, okay? I'll stay here, I think. Maybe hope that Haas stays by so I can stick close to someone. No offense, but I don't feel like confronting Sal right now. I looked away from him, towards the back door. He took the chance to take my hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. Be careful. I will. I stepped outside and immediately stopped in my tracks. I regret everything. Let's go back inside. Haas? Hey. Wait, where's Orlando? Inside. What are you doing here? I found Sal. He's at the pool, sorta, just moping. Hasn't moved from that spot in a while. Good. This is gonna be the turning point, boyos. As I made to walk past him, Haas grabbed me by the arm. Dave's arms. Everybody else in the VN. It's free real estate. Oh god. I thought of a good idea. Like, you know the meme where the girl's like looking at the guy who's like turning around to look at the other girl and she's like, hey! It's just gonna be that where it's like, it's gonna be like Orlando's like looking at Dave and he sees like, or no. It's gonna be like Haas like looking at Dave's hand and Dave's like the one girl just walking away towards the camera. And it's like everybody else is just like, hey! Oh god. Or you just erase out the girl that's like getting angry. It's just like, it just changes, like, just change everybody to like that guy. It's like multiple copies of him. And it's just like Dave just walking away. Anyway, as I made to walk past him, Haas grabbed me by the arm. Where are you going? To talk. You sure that's a good idea? I need to do it. Well, you convinced me. Well, alright. Just be careful, alright? Don't get too close. I grunted at him, pulling my arm free and continuing towards the pool. As I approached the fence of the pool, I could see Sal sitting there, sitting on the bridge and staring into the water. The feelings I had before started to well up, but I kept Orlando in mind as I passed through the gate. He didn't budge or even acknowledge that I had arrived. Enunciating is the biggest thing as a voice actor. Enunciate every syllable, or even acknowledge that I'd arrived. Ugh. Is it just me, or are they playing like the dog whistle noise? Am I going crazy too? Who knows? I walked over there where he sat and stood beside him, my hands hurting from how tightly I had balled them up into fists. Sal. He didn't respond, his eyes still watching the water instead of looking at me directly. I've come to talk. Dun dun. I've come to talk. I looked him over and he seemed larger than I remembered. Maybe killing him's not a good idea. Maybe it was my mind telling me not to pick a fight here, but the crocodile before me sighed, nodding slowly. His voice cracked when he spoke, slowly turning to face me. Okay. Okay. He said nothing else, and I found myself folding my arms, expecting him to at least apologize or something. Do you have anything to say for yourself? I'm sorry, Dave. Well, sorry is not going to cut it. I know. It should have been me. His whole form shuddered and slumped further over. Why? Why wasn't it me? Why didn't I? How did I? What can I remember? Is that true? You really don't remember? Please, just tell me what happened. I need to know. Tyson wasn't lying. You could hear it in his voice. I killed them both. Somehow. But how can I not remember that? He sighed again. Hands clasped together in his lap, looking to me again, only briefly before his gaze was peeled away elsewhere. Mimicking him, I sighed out, throwing my hands into my pockets and turning to stare into the water like he did. This was closer to the Sal I remembered. Completely different to the Sal I witnessed murdering my friends. I'm also going to try and lower the desktop audio. How's this? Is 5 good enough? I also have the music volume kind of down to like a third. Even the sound. Anyway. Alright. I'll tell you. Turning the camera around to get a better angle of me. Alright, I'll tell you. I sat down far enough away that I was out of arm's reach and began to relay the events to him. I'm so angry that I killed people that I'm gonna kill you! But I sat down far away enough that I was out of arm's reach and began to relay the events to him. He didn't move while I explained how it all started. With the scream and all of us rushing down to see him with Roswell. I watched his reflection in the water pale as I told him what he did to Dean when he tried to get in the way. Then, what he did to Roswell soon after. I explained what we did next. I felt myself getting angry. Retelling the events was making me scared, and in turn, enraged given he was nearby. Yes, the eyes beam is a proper reaction to this. When I finished by explaining what had happened right before we met him that morning, he reacted. Wait, did somebody yell outside? Or did somebody yell in the game? As like a sound effect? I think it may have been outside? It wasn't like a murderous type of scream, but they just were like shouting about something probably. Probably was somebody out there, but I almost thought it was timed so well with this. I thought they were like, and then we heard the screams of the murdered. Oh god, that would have been freaking scary. Anyway, when I finished explaining what had happened right before we met him that morning, he reacted. It started with his eyes bulging in fear as he stared into the water. It continued by his shoulders heaving and shaking, and it ended with his voice cracking as he turned to me to speak. I killed Dean and Roswell. He repeated the sentiment over and over, voice cracking more and more as if he were sobbing between each intake of air. His breathing quickened, and he clutched his chest desperately. My best friend. And your best friend. And I. After Roswell's warning yesterday, it didn't. Was that? Dave, I know you said it's not going to cut it, but... Sal, the only reason we're talking right now is because Orlando begged me to. You killed 2 people close to me, and the only way out of this I could see was to do to you what you did to them, so... Pulls out the gun. He nodded slowly, letting his hands hang in the space between his legs.
Would that help? Would that even be enough? Because if it is, then you can do it. No amount of apology can make up for what I did. Oh God. Oh dear God. If this is a decision we have to make, I'm going to lose it. I looked at him, angry enough that I wasn't sure if I could hold back from the following, though I was given the opportunity. I can only apologize over and over till my throat is sore. But if this happened once, it could happen again. That's why, to keep everyone else safe, I accept I might need to die. I stood up, breathing in deep. Within the last hour, I'd gone from grieving over the death of my friends, to being in blind rage, to being talked down and back around to wanting to get back at the person who made it all happen. You must choose. Oh my God, that would be insane. But was this really the same person? At the same time, could we risk it? All things considered, we were trapped, potentially for a while, with someone that wants us dead. Sal, the choice! Oh, no. I've seen this scene before. No wonder. We have to do both. What if we... Well, I mean, we're still going to be stuck either way. This is such a tough decision. I really want to do both, but... Okay. I want to... We're going to do the thing where we pretend to kill him, but that's just a flashback in our head or dream in our head. So we're going to do both options. I want to have a happy option at the end. That's why I'm doing the mean option first. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if I'm going to save it. I'm definitely going to save this option for sure. But for now, I'm sorry, Sal. We're going to have to get you the axe. I hesitated, a sudden flash of my dad crossing my mind. Was this the right thing to do? Was this what he would have done if it meant keeping me safe? Sal looked at me, waiting. He wasn't putting up a fight, and if I wanted to, it'd be done. Oh my God! It's giving you the decision multiple times. We're no longer friends. We stopped being friends the moment you killed Dean, and made it worse by killing Roswell too. I glared at him as hard as I could, and I wished I'd brought something with me after all, or met with Tyson to see if he'd found a weapon of some kind. I hate you. The growling had returned, my teeth were clenched, and my fists soon to follow. I couldn't bring myself to yell, but instead, a voice that came out of my mouth was barely recognizable as my own. You'd be better off dead. I understand. I stood there for a moment, wondering what happened next. With no weapon, killing him was going to be difficult. Dave, all things considered, I don't think you'll be able to kill me. I shot him a look, but I let him continue. But don't worry. I'll handle it. Why should I trust you? As it stands, I'd probably go to jail. If you killed me, then you'd be going to jail instead. So, don't worry about it. I'll handle it myself. It didn't sink in at first, but it dawned on me, causing me to take a step back. But all I could do was nod, turning away. Was this really all right? It didn't matter. What had been said had been said. When I left the pool, I looked towards the mansion. No one outside as far as I could see, and I hesitated heading back inside. Guys, I'm gonna save him after this version finishes. Don't worry. He will be saved. This is all happening in your minds, guys. This isn't the canon of what I'm doing. But no matter how I looked at it, I couldn't avoid it forever. As I walked back inside, I was shaking. Once I'd said it, there was no going back. It was too late to change what had happened now. Dave, did talking to Sal go all right? Yeah. My voice was barely a squeak and I couldn't look him in the eye. And Sal, he's still there? I kept my eyes trained on the ground and he didn't respond. But maybe that was the problem, as the next moment Orlando grabbed me by the shoulders, shaking me gently. Sal's still there, right? I looked him in the eye briefly before looking away. The moment I went to answer him, he stepped back, terrified. What did you do? Nothing. Throwing my hands up, I walked around him so I wasn't backed up against the door. We talked, and that's all. Liar, you did something to him, didn't you? I did nothing. I flashed him my hands, accompanied by an annoyed, if sarcastic smile. I did nothing. See? 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 What? See? See? Hands are clean. He's fine, Orlando. He's fine. I'm fine. We're all just damn fine. You're making it really hard to cope, Dave. I thought I could just depend on you, through this, but now you're just acting like a jerk. Sorry. I looked around the foyer, wondering why Orlando was still alone. He did say he'd stay here to not go missing, but even that seemed odd. Where's Haas? Oh, he was here for a bit, and then wandered off to go find Tyson. And have you seen Tyson? Not since we got back. The idea that Tyson was missing me made me worry. At least with Haas, he was somewhat accounted for. Thankfully, it didn't last as a problem for long. Ty! The sudden pang of relief made me rush over to him and hug him around the middle. But something was wrong. He didn't budge or even flinch. He pushed me away firmly before folding his arms over his chest, looking between Haas and Orlando. Where's the lizard? Outside. At the pool? Alright. I know where this is going from a mile away of how Sal's gonna kill himself. He's obviously gonna drown himself. It's not that hard. But it's all happening in your head, guys. This isn't the one I'm gonna stick with. Only sticking with the good choice. Alright. We're gonna have a meeting. Figure out what the fuck we're gonna do. Where have you been, though, Ty? Come on. I need some water or something. We're doing this in the kitchen. Ty? He was ignoring me, and I reached out in vain as he continued into the dining room without breaking stride. How are you two holding up? Fine, I suppose. Yeah, I'm fine.
too. I was still staring at the doorway Ty had disappeared through. Had I done something wrong? Had something happened? Well, as far as we know, nothing has gotten any worse, so that's a plus. Not that it's gotten any better, either. No shit, Sherlock. So, we're having a meeting then. Is Tyson just deciding things now? Or is Tyson just deciding things now? Maybe, but someone should be taking charge here. Either way, the idea is a good one. Commence Lord of the Flies. Maybe. We filed into the dining room behind Tyson, although it seemed he moved on ahead to the kitchen without us. He's not wasting any time, is he? Seems that way, huh? Does he seem off to anyone else? More than the usual Tyson sort of way? That's just Tyson for you. I've picked up on it too. I don't know what his problem is, but maybe this is just how he copes. But ignoring Dave like that was odd. I felt relieved that I wasn't the only one that noticed it, but there still wasn't a reason why. Do you think I did something wrong? Did you? I thought back to what happened at the pool, shooting Haas a firm look. No? Okay then. Maybe he'll tell us during this meeting. Or at the very least tell Dave in private. He might not be aware that he's doing it at all. As we stepped into the kitchen, Tyson was pacing. He took a couple more steps before noticing we were there, shoving something quickly into his pocket. the music just... silence. Words like violence. Or wait, words like silence. Whatever the lyrics were. Break the silence. Get into my little world. Da, 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 da. All I ever wanted. All I ever needed is you. Is mine. Anyway, I'm just double checking something. Where am I? Does anybody know how far we are? Oh, that's so cool. You finished your commission, man. That'd be cool to see it, if we could. But... yeah. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. I'm finishing this no matter what. I just want to know how much longer I have, just to see if I can finish this before, like, 1 in the morning. Yeah, I'm about an hour and 45 in, though. I just wanted to know how many scenes I got left. Still don't know, but, you know. Anyway. As we stepped into the kitchen, Tyson was pacing.
It took a couple more steps before noticing we were there, shoving something quickly into his pocket. Alright, let's get this over with. Sure, we're good to just start? We don't need to prepare anything, or... Nothing to prepare. I just want to get this over with. Well... Alright. Tyson leaned back on the kitchen bench, looking at each of us in turn. Alright, so I have a couple of things I want to go over. I shrank back against the fridge, letting him speak. Meanwhile, Haas and Orlando took up places around the kitchen. First up, what's happening with Sal? He's at the pool. Or was when I was outside last. I kept quiet, not wanting to say anything what happened at the pool. If everything went as Sal said it would, then he wasn't a problem anymore. Well, great. So long as we know where he is, I guess that's fine. I don't think he'll go making any moves during the day at least. Which is what I wanted to bring up next. I'm fucking tired of how much sleep I got last night. So, what's the plan for tonight? I'm guessing because we can't get in contact with anyone. Otherwise, the police should have arrived. Which means our only option is to be all in the same room again tonight, right? Right. Bunking up together again? Not that I'm against it, but is that our only option? Not unless we want to do rotating shifts as lookout. I really don't mind, but does this mean we can maybe prepare a bit better so we're comfortable? The others looked at Tyson, and he was now hiding the fact that he was ignoring me, looking elsewhere. Hey, knock that off. He asked you a question. I heard him. And? Dave has feelings too, you know. Fine. We can get some blankets or something, or some mattresses into the same room. Happy? I whined, but nodded slowly. I'd hate to bring this up as our next topic, but what do we do about Dean and Roswell? As in... Oh, right. Well, we still have the plan from this morning with the freezer. There's no better plan than that. I mean, you could put them in the basement, but then again, Tyson will be like, but my weights! But that's like the best option if you had to compare. Maybe shove them in one of the rooms. Put them in the library with Oswin. Yeet! But there's no better plan for that. Best we could do is just hope that the food doesn't go bad, right? Yeah, putting dead bodies in with food in the freezer is always a good plan. It should be fine. Hopefully, we don't have any other real alternatives unless we want to put up with that smell. He trailed off, leaving the comment there. Every one of us was quiet, wondering what was next. The immediate problems we had a solution to, but the bigger ones were still drawing a blank. Was there any way to contact someone? I thought about it, maybe a signal flare, before I remembered that if we could just solve the reception problem, we could get someone to help out with the road problem. A few times, a couple of us went to just say something before getting back to contemplating things, silent. For me, though, I had something on my mind. Something that I needed to answer to. Or an answer to. I just know how best to broach the subject. Or just didn't know how to best broach the subject, sorry. I want to know something, Haas. Sure, what do you want to know? That thing you had yesterday morning. What was it? What? Right, well, that's... Can we cut out the crap and just say what it is already?
It's a radio jammer. Stops phone signals and stuff.
Okay! Wait, so would that be the reason why we can't contact the police? That our phones aren't working? Better fucking not be, because if it is... Tyson's eyes bulged as he looked at Haas.
Well, it's a damn good thing I couldn't repair it, huh?
But if you couldn't repair it, then why doesn't the phone work?
Maybe someone else has one? That said, if they had one, that would cause a whole bunch of other problems.
Okay. Are there any landlines at the mansion? Have we tried any of the damn landlines? Like what?
Well, these things block signals, right? Anything from phones, sometimes radio signals, and... well...
bombs? Oh, fuck off. Is that why the bomb went off? But wouldn't one of those jammers, like, stop it from going off?
Look, it doesn't matter. Sure, I shouldn't have hid this from everyone, but as far as I know, someone else is either using one of these jammers to keep us here, or we're just very unlucky.
I don't think it's just being unlucky.
Neither do I.
Tyson sighed, shaking his head. Well, if we're fucked in that regard, best we could do is wait it out. That, or we go find a way through the forest. If we had the choice, I'd rather... not. Just in case we got lost, right? If Dean were still... The room went quiet, all of us looking to the floor. Okay, well... at least we have food. And shelter. But if it's alright with everyone... I think I'm done for the day. I'm going to sleep.
But, Dave!
No, I need a nap. Something. Peace out. Kicks the mic over. Does like the Obama thing where it's like the meme of him just shoving over like the podium. I sighed out, shaking my head and keeping my eyes trained on the floor. I'm almost at the point that I don't care if I'm in danger. I'm tired, I'm confused, I'm sad, and just... slumping my shoulders, I breathed out, turning on my heel and headed out of the kitchen. As I trudged forward, I reached the base of the stairs before stopping, thinking things over. I felt numb to what was happening. Was I that selfish that I felt like someone should be taking care of me? Or was I just that far gone that I needed help? That I wanted someone to tell me it was going to be alright? Each step up towards my bedroom was a struggle. My ears trained on trying to hear anything other than my heart pounding in my chest. I collapsed on the bed and promptly passed out. I don't know how long I slept for. Minutes? Hours? It could have even been days. All that greeted me when I closed my eyes was an endless, heavy black. At some point I heard movement in my room, or at least somewhere nearby. It wasn't enough to wake me. Or maybe I was too tired to care. Part of me wondered if I resigned myself to my fate if it was something more dangerous. But eventually, I opened my eyes. Ah, Tyson. Uh-huh. Oh. It's you. I rolled over onto my side, facing away from him. I didn't know why he was here, and part of me was still hurt that he was ignoring me before. You doing okay?
Go away. Okay, so I was an asshole. He wandered over and sat on the bed, dropping his weight down on it enough to make me look back at him. It hurt. I don't know why you were ignoring me during the meeting, but what did I do wrong? Nothing, just I need to focus more on the others. Something's not sitting right with me. I stayed quiet, opening and opting instead to just listen. I'm gonna ask you something, and you have to be honest with me. No bullshit, alright? Okay. What's your name? Dave. Why? What's your dad's name? Dave. His name was David. Why? And your driver's license has your first name on it, right? First and last name. Yeah? Okay. Then we have a fucking problem. What's the problem? I rolled over to look at him and he seemed troubled, hands shoved into his pockets, seemingly thinking it over. Probably better if I show you. He pulled something out of his pocket. It seemed like a card of some sort and pushed it into my hand. Okay, don't freak out. As he eased his hand away, I sat up, looking at the card he handed to me. My eyes widened as I realized what it was, a chill running down my spine. In my hand was a driver's license, a familiar face in the picture accompanying it. Parts of it seemed nicked and chewed on, but otherwise everything down to the name was legible. But it can't be. You didn't bring this with you, yeah? No. Then how the fuck did it get here, Dave? I ran my fingers over the embossed name, each letter of the name making it clear that I wasn't imagining it. I don't know. Well, unless there's another family using your last name that are also hyenas, then something fucked up is going on. But what do we do? The fuck if I know. But I know I'm not trusting any of those other fucks with you. Why not? They're my friends, and Ty took both of my hands, looking me in the eye. You're the only family I have left now. I'm not about to let you get off just because someone else decides to take advantage. Double check that license again, and if you're absolutely sure it's real, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I flipped the card over once Tyson had eased off, running over the details again. Wait, where's my license? Is this a duplicate? Like a fake duplicate? Or is this the original one and we're just going crazy? David Holloway, male, 5'10". It even had our address along with his full birthday. Without a doubt, this was my dad's license. Plot thickens. Plot is like... I'm trying to compare a character in this story who's thick, but none of them are really, really thick, but... This plot is thickening. Without a doubt, this was my dad's license. Ty, it's real, but I don't know why it's here. That's what I thought.
Saw something scurrying around with it before, and it ran off after dropping it. But that means he was here, right? Do you think he could still be alive? How? I thought his body was like, I guess reported for like whatever car accident. He was dead. I thought he was like, what? Wouldn't you have known like his dead body? Like, was it closed casket? Like, what was the funeral like? The guy that killed his dad is here. Dun dun. Oh, that could also be true. Holy crap. Either Jack killed him, maybe the Hammonds killed him, or the Nobles killed him when the two of them were like dealing something out, like Hammond Noble trade off or some crap. Not Orlando, of course, probably, but maybe like Orlando's dad. Orlando's dad and Oswin probably were talking with each other. Dave's dad, David, came onto the scene and he got murdered. That could be a possibility. Yeah, there's also Jack, but I don't know. What would Jack have to do with it? Do you think you could still be alive? I don't think so. But how else would it have gotten here? We should at least search, right? Tyson grumbled, shaking his head. If you want to search, I'll give you a day. 1 day. But after that, we're getting out of here. Just you and me. Fuck everyone else. But, Ty... No buts. I'm keeping you safe. You may hate it. You may hate me for it, but I'm not risking you dying over it. Even if I don't want to go, you think you could stop me? I shrank into myself, knowing that I couldn't even on a good day. I stopped him going out into the forest, but that was different. I didn't so much stop him as I knew what buttons to push. But this was different. My words came out meek and feeble, and I nodded while I kept my gaze averted. Okay. Still want some space for now. Hungry? It's way past dinner. Admittedly, I wasn't all that hungry. Ironically, every time Dave's not hungry, I am hungry. Dave's hunger translates from him to me. So after this, I'm going to get some Taco Bell. Oh god. Admittedly, I wasn't all that hungry. Especially now after seeing Dad's face on his license. I was just as scared though, wondering what was going to happen in the next couple of days. Well, if you want something to eat, I'll be around. Let me know and I'll take you down to the kitchen and fix something up for you. There isn't leftovers? You think I'm gonna let you eat what the others made? Fuck that! I whined, thinking back to Orlando's cooking. Tyson's cooking was functional, if a little bland outside a couple things, paling in comparison to Orlando's skill. Rest up. We'll talk later. He left the room, without waiting for a reply from me, the door clicking behind him gently. I looked at the license Ty had found, wondering how it had gotten here. There was one person alone who would have known anything about this, and he was now dead. Now that I'd told anyone about it, but I knew one place that might have hold some answers. I made my way to the conservatory, figuring I'd just trace my steps back. The
place was empty, and I let out a breath I had apparently been holding. This was my secret now. At least until I had some answers. Maybe Dad was alive. Sorry, thought I saw something. Nah. Just something. Just a little look. Spooky stuff be happening in my house because of password. But now I'm just checking my bike because I'm trying to see if I can fit a slushie into my cup holder for my bike. I want to go on a late night binge. Anyway, maybe Dad was alive. Maybe he wasn't. But there was a chance, right? If this was Osmond's house and Dad had been here, there had to be something in the way of a clue, right? What if the password, the vault works on trauma? Instead of just taking a sample of Dave's dad, they just took the whole fucking yin and put him in the vault. And once you finally unlock the vault, Dave's dad is gonna be in there. That would be batshit crazy. There's only 9 of us, my ass. Huh. Yes, Sassy, I'll try and get you a chicken burrito. I don't like burritos, like Taco Bell type of burritos. I do like burritos at like restaurants that are like a Chipotle type restaurants. We have one locally to us that's amazing, at least in my opinion, because they do a quesarito, which is a quesadilla burrito. Best thing ever. But I might get that instead, actually. You're making me change my mind, Sassy, but yeah, I typically get like tacos there, or get like the taco with like the soft shell on the outside, the cheese between it, and then the hard shell on the inside. That one is, that one's good. Anyway, there had to be something in the way of a clue, right? I clutched Dad's license tight in my pocket as I stepped into the dark. I'm coming, Dad. I breathed in and raced forward, entering the library and throwing caution to the wind. Everything was how I'd left it, and I made my way down to the door and stepped through it into the corridor beyond. But I almost retched the moment I did. The smell of something bad hitting my nose. It could only be one thing, and it was suffocating the air of any other scent. It branding my nose even after I covered it with my arm. Dave! No! Dave, be okay? You got the walls cracked and everything? Oh god, it's all coming apart. The smell got worse the moment I stepped in, my eyes darting to the corner where Oswin lay. That is creepy as fuck. The knife still in his chest, blood dried and his body already paled and rigid. Light from his computer was still casting a sickly glow about the place. God, that must be the longest lasting battery. My computer just turns off after a minute. Long shadows cast along the floor. There has to be something here. There's nothing. This is gonna be the mouse. I gotta try and get the Cockney accent. There's nothing for you here. I froze, eyes darting around looking for the voice. Familiar, robotic, and something I associated with Osmond when he spoke to me through the intercom. Leave. Who's there? Very quickly, the shadows in the room moved. The sound of the scurrying started and coming to a sudden stop. You should have not come here. Not after what you did to my master. You're... Ah, it's the mouse! Ah! Ah! That's when I spotted the beady eyes watching me from the dark next to Oswin's body. The ragged body of something hunched over, a large metal collar bound to its neck with a speaker attached to it. I gulped, looking at the rat as it stared at me, tail whipping about behind it. Are you listening? The tone of his voice changed suddenly, although it kept most of its anger. Get out! You're a rat, and you're talking. I hope you're happy, David Holloway Jr. Oh, God. What? Happy? No, what? I hope you're happy that you killed my master. Because now... Rattled laughter came out of the speaker attached to its collar. The rat's whole form shifting and shuddering as it convulsed in glee. Oh no. Because now, I'm going to take everything from you. Oh no. I took a step back, a chill running down my spine and the scent of Austin's body hitting me again. As much as I wanted to run, I was frozen in place, staring at the rats, now laughing once more through the speaker. Your lifeline is cut. Your way out limited. You're going to die in this place without even knowing why. How do you know my name? Who are you? Stomp on the rat. You people are horrible. I cried out in vain as the rat Jesus. I cried out in vain as the rat backed away into the shadows, disappearing entirely. He was gone before I could lunge at him and stop him from escaping. My heartbeat sped up and I looked around, backing up towards the door to the lab. Just as my hand reached to the door, the lights flickered briefly before cutting out entirely. We are fucked. We are so fucked. It was dark, a deep and heavy darkness that I was left in. Dark enough that I couldn't see the hands in front of my face and it was making it hard to breathe. I began to run, tripping over my feet as I got back to the library. Collapsing to the floor, I scrambled towards the table, turning back to look at the door thrown open, wondered if someone was going to follow me. But nothing came. The only sound echoing the room was the sound of my heart beating frantically in my chest, loud enough to drown out my breathing as I panicked. Had I just hallucinated the rat talking? Had what it said just been an empty threat because I was stressed? That's all it must have been, right? Stress. I laughed. And I laughed hard. Hard enough to double over and clutch my stomach when it hurt to breathe. But I couldn't keep it going. I devolved down into the empty sob soon enough. I shut my eyes trying to block it all out. Block everything out. Maybe I could fix this somehow. Maybe I could go into the vault and try to open it? Shaking it, I pulled myself up and continued back towards the conservatory. Empty and quiet, light filtering it in from outside, even though it wasn't all that much. My eyes had adjusted somewhat, but I felt around in the darkness in case I ran into something. This is all in our head, guys. I wonder what happens if we, ask for forgiveness or apologize or whatever. We're gonna do that. Don't worry. I'm probably gonna skip through the parts we've read already, because technically we have done it before. Plus, I want to get food. Anyway. Then, I got to the base of the stairs and looked around. It was still quiet. I half expected Tyson to be around, or Haas. Or Orlando. Anyone! My attention went to the door leading into the sitting room, where Dean and Roswell were the last time I saw them. Had they been moved to the freezer? Were they still there? I hugged myself as I hung on my head, heading towards the basement. When I reached the vault, I already knew something was wrong. Ugh, I shivered cold. There was a ringing in my ears from just how quiet it was. That had paled in comparison to what I'd come to realize. The vault was offline. Pressing the buttons did nothing. The display held nothing on it either. My lifeline had been cut. The rat had followed through on its threat, somehow, and I didn't understand. Sure, my friends call me Dave, but that was just easier than having to always question it if they were talking to me or my dad. It wasn't exactly something that came up when introducing myself, and this was the first time I'd met this rat. I didn't know what was going on, or even why. Before I realized I was moving, I was on autopilot back to my room. By the time I got back to my bedroom, I was hungry, but I didn't care. I was pacing, worried. I was on edge, hyper-focused on any sound or movement that happened nearby that wasn't on my own. The slow knocking on my bedroom door made me freeze, head snapping to stare at it until the person knocking entered the room. He said nothing as he closed the door behind him and flicked off the light, leaving us in the dark.
Where did you go?
Nowhere. He stared at me and I stared right back. It was none of his business.
Fine, whatever.
Ripped his shirt off. He pulled off his shirt, dumping it to the floor before wondering closer. As he stood in front of me, he sized me up before grabbing me roughly by the back of my head, pulling me in for an awkward hug.
Let's get some sleep, okay?
I'm not tired. His grip eased off, but he didn't pull away. But I wrapped my arms around his middle, hugging him close. Ty, I'm scared.
I know.
I didn't want any of this to happen.
I know.
And Ty?
I know. I mean, yes. What?
He eased me back to look at me, a hand cradling my cheek carefully. I can trust you, right? We're going to be okay. Right? He pulled me into him tight, the hug almost painful, desperate, but I returned to it in kind. He shuddered and he nuzzled the side of my face. I could tell he was crying. We stood there like that for a few moments, with his shudders shaking and tears flowing freely despite the little sound he made. When he finally spoke again, he sighed out before doing so. His voice was soft and uncertain.
You can trust me.
And we'll be okay. I took him by the hand and led him over to the bed, and he followed me without resisting, but he was the one that lay me down first and crawled in bed soon after, holding me close.
We'll be okay. We'll get everything ready for tomorrow and just... We'll run away. We'll go somewhere. Get you out of this fucking mansion.
Okay. We lay there as the thunder started to roll in.
Hey.
I've got you. Right, Dave?
Got me?
Yeah. He didn't clarify beyond that. The two of us just laying there in silence while I figured out what to say back. Have I got you? He pulled back enough to look me in the eye. The gears were turning in his head, and his voice was brought down to barely a whisper when he answered me.
Always have.
I squeaked, heartbeat slowing down somewhat as a newfound calm settled in. As if to reinforce what he said, Tyson leaned in, resting his head atop mine.
Always.
We lay like that, listening as the rain rolled in, Ty occasionally playing with my ears carefully as they twitched upon any new sound coming from inside the house. I momentarily forgot about all else, Haas and Orlando included. But the rat in Austin's body in the laboratory lingered a little.
Was it worth bringing up given no one else knew? All that mattered for now is that I felt safer than I had the last 24 hours being next to Ty. Hopefully, it lasted until morning. To be continued. End of demo. Now to load this decision, and everything that just happened was in our head. We are going to forgive Sal, and I'm going to skip over the parts that have been seen already, just because we've already kind of been there, done that, and I'll stop for the parts that just change based on the forgiveness. Remember, the update is tomorrow. Help. Forgive Sal this time. Here we go. This is canon. As he looked at me, awaiting an answer, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Killing someone was wrong. Wishing someone dead was just as bad. I don't want you dead. But, what if? I sat back down, slightly closer, only half sure that I was safe. Killing you isn't going to bring them back, Sal. It hurts. And part of me still hates you for what you did, but... was that really you? The more I think on it, the less sure I get. What do you mean? Maybe something made you go insane. Maybe you had a reason after all. If you're not lying about remembering then, I don't know where that leaves us. I see. We looked at each other, and Sal sighed out, rubbing his arm. How's Orlando? Terrified. Like everyone else. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come to talk to me after this. But I don't think he'd run if I could build up the courage to face him. What about the others? I imagine that there's every chance that Tyson may want his pound of flesh. Maybe Haas. I'll have to deal with it when it happens. But what if they... you know... Then I'll give them the same option. It's only fair. I shifted uncomfortably on the spot, thinking immediately of Tyson. Dad wouldn't want him going to jail, and I didn't either. Haas seemed open to considering things before taking any action, so in that sense, I probably need to talk with him too. Don't worry about it, Dave. What's done is done. I'm just going to sit here until I figure out what I can do. Or until the police arrive. That might take a while. Haas and I couldn't get the reception even on the main road. Well, then I suppose I'll just wait here. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can find something to use as a blanket when it gets cold tonight. You're planning on staying out here all night? Do you feel safe with us being under the same roof? I couldn't rightly tell him yes, and my expression gave me away. Don't worry about it. I've been in worse living situations before, so... I'll manage. I'll check on you later, I guess. He just nodded and went quiet. I waited, wondering if he was going to say anything else, but it never came. Eventually, I got up and left him alone. My mind was racing as to what had just happened, and I was left as confused as ever. I trudged towards the mansion, wondering if what I decided was the right thing after all. I couldn't bring myself to kill Sal, but the anger lingered and I had nowhere to direct it. With a sigh, I headed back inside. All right, we go back inside. Let's see what's different. We probably won't be as angry and pissy with Orlando, so one line later, Dean and Roswell were dead, and what chance I had to channel how I was feeling was now gone. But oddly, I didn't have any regrets. Not yet, at least. Dave, did talking to Sal go all right? Okay, so I skipped a lot of things, so yeah, my voice was barely a squeak. I couldn't keep look in the eye. And Sal, is he still there? Kept my eyes on the ground. I looked at him. Oh, we still react weirdly. Sal's still there. Sal's still there, right? So, what did you do? Nothing. Throwing my hands up, I walked around him so I wasn't backed up against the back door. We talked, and that's all. Oh, really? That's all. Yeah. Now I don't know what to think. Orlando took my hand and pulled me closer, watching carefully. You had me worried a little bit. I thought you might have done something you might have regretted. Sorry. I looked around the foyer, wondering why Orlando was still alone. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, we hang out, we go to the kitchen. So, do you think I did something wrong? Did you? Not that I know of. Okay, then. Maybe he's telling us. Maybe he'll tell us during this meeting. Or at the very least, tell Dave in private. He might not be aware that he's doing it at all. Okay, the meeting happens. Ooh. Different music? Is this different music? This might be the same. He's at the pool, or was when I was outside last. Far as I know, he's planning on spending the night out there. Well, great. So long as we know where he is, I guess that's fine. I don't think he'll go making any moves during the day, at least. Also, extremely recommended, Crescendo. Cilio Tales of New Dawn, Dawn Chorus, and Limits. Funny enough, I played 2 of those with the Furry VN chat. So I technically do 2 of those. So if you want to watch me do that, I'm doing it with anywhere between 5 to 8 other people at once. And we have a blast. It's kind of trimmed down for time, so the videos are about 20 to 30, 35 minutes max. And they're a blast. You get some fun highlight moments, you get different voices. We did Crescendo and it came out today. You will love the Crescendo episode. Just saying, I liked it. You can check my recent likes that I've liked, I guess. And yeah, it's the most recent one, so I had a blast doing it, to say the least. So Crescendo and Limits are the ones I've done. So yeah, I don't know about the other ones, but I have something planned for January. Not spoiling it. I DM'd the creator. Not gonna spoil it. I told them not to spoil it either, in case I go through with it. But FVN Shin, yes, that's the one. Check out his channel. He deserves so many more subscribers, and I deserve none. Please. Anyway. Well, great. So long as we know where he is, I guess that's fine. I don't think he'll go making any moves during the day, at least. And we're gonna skip. Skip. Things happen, we talk. Okay, so everything seems to be normal with this, so this is fun. Oh god, we are screwed at this point. We talked to the rat, and we are still in danger. Our lifeline has been cut off still. Great. Tavern? Did somebody say tavern? Like Tavern of Spear? Yeah, they are in my March Madness candidates, but I'm not gonna say what I'm doing. Dawn Chorus, like, I'm gonna pretend that I'm not doing any of these for now. Like, even if the one that I'm playing is not on this list, I'm gonna be like, technically, no. Okay. So, anyway, Annis is now gone. What? Okay. So nowhere. So I was nowhere, I swear. So we are. So we'll be okay. So we'll be okay. We'll get everything ready tomorrow and just. We'll run away. We'll go somewhere. Get you out of this fucking mansion. Okay. I wondered if Sal would be alright. Hopefully things will turn out for him. But right now, I was worried more about myself. We lay there as the thunder started to roll in. So, fast forward. Ah, shit. Okay. Everything's the same. Okay. Nothing much different. Just the forgiveness scene. Alright. We did not let Sal die, so. Good. To be continued, and a demo. Yeah, definitely go do that, young jeweler. Go to sleep. Side note, Dave and the rat are the only ones that can metempsychose. Yep, the rat too, since he's aware of the extreme alternate timelines in life. That's interesting. Lifelines, yeah, I know what you meant. I misspell all the time too. Well, that is the end of the password update. And supposedly, it's coming out again tomorrow. Oh! God. I'm just gonna double check passwords, like... It always comes out on the 15th, I thought. Today's the 14th. Updates occur at the 15th of every month. So... Oh, probably because it's Australian time. So it'd be like the 14th, like the night of, probably for me, or some crap. Or midday, because... God, I'm gonna have to ask Grizzly what those updates are, because if I'm gonna have to do 3 routes all over again, and have to do password again 3 weeks straight, I think I might lose my mind. As good of a game as it is, I'm probably gonna make you guys go crazy, and I'm probably gonna go crazy. Just from playing it too long and too frequently. I need to get my other VNs in. I'm waiting for Kemia. I'm waiting for Tennis Ace to get updated. Tennis Ace is supposedly going to come out in about 2-ish weeks, give or take, because the Patreon version came out. And I only do public because I don't want to leak Patreon footage or stuff, imagery, whatever. But yeah. So when that comes out, it will come out within the next week or two. Maybe I'll be having Thanksgiving with Shuichi. Wouldn't that be great? But god damn, I really want to see a Kemia update, or heck, even the Smoke Room, like... And I'm also really waiting on my dang new VN to come out, or well... Like, I'm waiting for January to roll around. I'm really looking forward to January. There's certain reasons, and you'll find out why once I release the first episode, why I've waited so long. But it's also kind of a mixture of finishing out this quarter or semester strong. Because I am not doing... I'm doing well enough, but I'm just, like, struggling in this one class, and it's like, I need this to have a good resume, damn it. And I think I need to get an email from them to see if I got added to the course. Because one of the people emailed me and was like, hey, the stats head is going to email you a code. And I'm like, cool. And I haven't gotten it yet. They said they're going to email it sometime today. So, yeah. Waiting on that. But I checked at like 2 p.m. I think when they sent that. 3. Alright. Smoke Room has not been updated either. And I think I checked Chemia earlier today, and it is not updated, so... sad moments. No Chemia update. Sadness. I was nervous that somebody was like looking too much into like the creators' personal lives on like the Echo project, because somebody was like, why does he still have the virus? And I was like, oh no, they're talking about the creators having the virus. I'm like, don't be snooping like that. And then I was like, oh, they're probably talking about like Marco or some like Echo character. I was like, oh, it's probably in the game. I was like, you better not be snooping on my careers in real life. I'm gonna bonk you if you do. But yes, we have gone for 2.5 hours. I am so glad I cut off the last stream when I did. I went for like about 4.5 hours last time. I'm already crazy for over specialization. All the little facts I see in every VNs I play. 52, holy crap. I can't remember that many novels. I've only played a dozen. About, give or take. The Human Heart. Oh, is that the one with like the... It's the one where the thumbnail or whatever is like the bear with the who's doing like the heart symbol, and it's like that bear is like so huggable. Ah, he looks adorable. God dang, I'm so sad that I'm limiting my March Madness to 200. If you guys want to see a link, well, too bad I can't pop it up right now. I don't think. Could I? I could maybe. Let me just copy and paste. Cancel. Let me see if I can open up an internet. Can I open up an internet? There we go. That's the one. Let me advertise my survey. What did I just click? That is not what I meant to click. Internet. It's locked. Oh, no wonder. Welcome to my survey. This is the March Madness thing I was talking about. So, basically, good to know that it's too long of a title. Or did I just accidentally type a W in there? 2021. Whatever. So basically what happens is you're gonna... For people who are interested in March Madness, I'm cutting off the candidates, I'd say, by the end of the year, and then I'll be taking some in probably until like January, end of January. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm gonna take in candidates until the end of January, but I'm not gonna add any new candidates. I might make it mid-January. Depends on how long I want the ranking system to go before the actual event happens. But anyway. Ow. My feet burn. Ow. 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 So, what's going to happen is each of the candidates for the ranking system, you get to rank each candidate on a scale between -5 and +5. And if you don't know anything about the character or just are super neutral about them, you give them a 0. So just stick them in the middle, like indifferent. If you don't know a character, you could just skip them or give them a 0. I'll fill in the 0 anyway if you don't want to take a billion years filling out every single character that you don't know. So, this is an example of what it looks like. This is just for anybody who doesn't know. Oh, so, try to open up the right window. Yeah, the candidates are for March Madness. Like, remember 2020 when I did it was like basically a March Madness bracket where it's like 64 single elimination bracket for best boys that face off against each other one-on-one. And you vote for each matchup each round. So, basically I'm doing that again in 2021, but I'm trying to be more prepared this year. This coming year. It's going to be a while till then, like 4 months, 3 months. So, for example, ironically, the password candidates show up first. So, for example, I could rate Dean between -5 and +5. I can clear it if I wanted to, whatever. And then there's Orlando, Benson, Oswin, Dave. The order of them is shuffled, so for each... The VNs are in a specific order, like section 1, 2, 3, etc., like password, tennis ace, blah, blah, blah. But the order that each characters are within each section is shuffled. And it's basically a battle for the bestest of best boys. Sal, Tyson. And it keeps going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. And you'll eventually get to the end and you can add feedback where you can add candidates that you want. I'm not going to fill out the survey myself because I'm a jury member and I already filled out a jury survey, which has a special twist to it where you can give little bonus points. But we only affect 20% of the vote now, so we're not as impactful as we were before. We don't want to like flip the entire bracket on its head just because we are too snobby about our choices. I give -5 to certain characters. Yeah. That's part of the point of this. It's to show whether or not a character is a good candidate for March Madness, and our top 64 will make it through. That's why I'm doing a ranking system. It's to seed them from like 1 to 64. Everybody else below that's, cut off. I did include Amicus in this survey just to see how he would do. We are probably not going to include him this year, but rather maybe include him in like a winner's bracket for like, best of the best for the year or something. Just because he's like so overwhelmingly loved and just won last year pretty well-handedly. Might do that in general with like the champions. We'll like take them out and make them put in like the winner of winners bracket. So anyway, I'd keep going, and at the end there's a feedback section, like if there's any candidates you want to add, any other feedback. So yeah. And I'll take you to the Google Doc. Ah, God, you can see all my files. Ah. No, I meant Drive. Shoot. There we go. March Madness Archives. And you guys can look online and see how the rankings are. I should probably have added this to my list of things I need to do. And by that, I mean things I can do right now, but just takes a second. Replace. Perfect. And now I am going to my March Madness and Twitter shoutouts. And this. I could share this with you guys and yeah, you guys could see who's editing, but anyone with this can comment. Anyone with this link can view. So I'm just gonna give you guys viewing properties. So first I'm going to paste it here in case you guys want to check it out. Alright, so this is for the visual novel category. And I'll save that to my text edit files. Alright, so that's one down. And then I need to do one for the other two.
I want to sit on Tyson's lap. That's a mood. So if you guys are currently looking, we have... I can't speak. Shit. We have about 30-ish, 31 responses my last check, and these are our current standings based off of it. Amicus is in the lead, surprisingly. Or not surprisingly, I meant. Very unsurprising that Amicus, Amadaddy, is at our number 1 spot. Which means if Amicus, of course he will be in the top 64, our 65th slot will get in. So, right now it is... Oh, there's been a change in some rankings. Oh. We're going to have to update. Well, also, I need to copy this link and paste into a different window so I can access the other windows without you guys seeing and cheating. And oh my god, the jury windows are open. Oh, wait, I'm okay with that. This is how I am allowing people to see the score, so I'm transparent. Okay, I hid the emails and timestamps, so as I say that, it doesn't matter for public people. I at least hide the emails of our respondents, so we don't get, like, you know, people just, like, trying to weed out who gave a bad rating and, like, spam them, so. Anyway, the password music just ended. I guess password's over. Password is ended. So, anyway, we have our candidates. Let me see if anybody, like, responded last. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to add the zeros. So, luckily with my handy dandy tool, I can update it right now and give the zeros for candidates that were not given any rankings. So if you left it blank as a 0, then yeah, it's going to be a 0. So anyway, now this should better assess our rankings. So Z to A. Here we go. We got a good couple switches from that. So guys, let's see. Who is Amicus? Oh, that one hurt. Oh, that one hurt so badly. Who is Amicus? From the hit series Adastra. If you saw a photo of him, you'll know. Dorito, the link is in the description. And I can also just copy it for you guys right now if you guys want to just mess around with it. This is the visual novel category. And I have a non-visual novel category, which I may add more candidates to as time goes. And once again, I don't know why I said once again, but you guys can edit your responses after the fact. Like, you don't have to, like, you only get one response, but you can go back and be like, yeah, maybe I hate this character now, or maybe I like this character a lot now. So, you know, it's flexible enough so that over time people can still go back and make revisions, but then I'll close it at a certain time in, like, February, and then be like, bam, these are the final standings, and I'll reveal them in a huge, like, pre-show selection, I guess. Yes, you rate the characters from -5 to +5. +5 being your best boy, -5 being your worst boy. Or just really thinking they don't fit for best boy, either way. And 0 being indifferent, so being like, I don't care for them. Or not knowing them. So, anyway. Amicus is first, and Dave from Password is second. Ironic I'm doing Password tonight. So, and then we got the two Nekajishi cats taking 3rd and 4th. Crazy enough, Lin Hu ended up taking 4th last year in last year's March Madness, losing out to Yuichi, the main character from Tennis Ace. And then
Right below, we have Neferu from Adastra slash Kimia, who is in the 5th slot. Dean 6th from Password. Shuichi from Tennis Ace. My man's down to 7th, which I'm okay with. I mean, he was a bit overhyped last time we did it, and our jury votes may have saturated the seedings last year. Yuichi right behind him at the 8th seed. Nikolai at 9th. I might as well just give Amicus the 0 seed, the infinity seed for being the best, but nevertheless, we'll just consider it 9, 7, 8, 9, etc. for now. Whatever. I love my chunky Amicus, Drew. Yeah, go to sleep, Nava. Like, this is just me kind of explaining my March Madness. Excuse me, I am sorry I burped. That was very rude of me. Alright, popular ranking. Yeah, let me just... How is Nikolai so high? Nikolai really does deserve it, though, man. I just want to double check something. No, that's not what I wanted to check. My brain is having a brain fart. Oh, I was gonna check the standings. Jesus, what was I doing? Dirk, what are you doing? Okay, a lot of zeros because we don't know a lot of the characters, but okay, none of the. So you can see the scores, but no names. This one I'm also going to share. Alright, so anybody with this can view. Remember, you can mention who you want added at the end of the survey, and probably sometime in like January-ish, give or take, whenever I figure it out, we'll finalize the remaining candidates and have our final list of 200 to bring to the test, basically, and put in the rankings. I'm gonna download Amicus. I'm gonna download Adastra so I can sleep with Amicus. Nice. Again. Nice. And here's the standings for the non-visual novel category. So this is like anime, manga, movies, cartoons, etc. Yeah, there we go. Current rankings. And save. And text edit file. Come on. Helvetica, damn it. There we go. My computer's weird. So don't worry, I won't be much longer on here. I just wanted to kind of give you guys the skinny about the March Madness thing, because I'm still passionate about it. I just haven't been able to work on it much lately. And I want to work on it more when maybe over the break, when I'm working on my VN, just, I don't know, sometime then. When I get some breaks, I will. Not during school. And these rankings are pretty straightforward. They're pretty accurate. There's so few people that it's like the negative people are even getting in, so yeah, that one's eventually going to have its changes. List of candidates, I'm going to switch this around with this. Bam. All right. Oh, don't wait for me to be done. This part's just me, like, just finishing some, like, survey pasting and whatnot and just explain March Madness to anybody. So I'm gonna just spend like a little 5 more minutes on here, and then, you know, go to bed or eat, probably both at the same time. Back to 2021. Best girl. This is also a new category for this year, like non-visual novel. Non-visual novel was merged with the regular category last year. There was only one category. This year we're gonna have a best girl too, because there are some good best girls from like the visual novels, animes, and whatnot. So switch. Yeah, there's no link. There's no survey yet, or the survey is closed, so I don't have any responses open for it yet. But these are our current candidates. We have 5, and they are Saya from Tennis Ace, Maria from Extracurricular Activities, Retzko from Agretzko, Varissa from Far Beyond the World, and Sally from Limits. So we got some solid candidates so far, but I really want to hear more, and I bet there's more that I'm forgetting. So I really can't wait to start adding those. So like I'm looking forward to Best Girl too. Like I'm even though I'm not as much into like the non-visual novel category, like I know some of the obvious like contenders, but I am not as aware with them. Like the best girl thing, if I got more time, I would probably come up with more, or if I spent more time thinking about it. So visual novel, non-visual novel, and sold. Best girl category. And save. Here we go. Extracurricular activity girl will bend. Who knows, man? What if they add somebody from God, you guys are gonna kill me for saying this. Wolf Star Sins in Paradise, they're gonna add like the 2 girls in there. How do I know there's 2 girls? Because I played it with FVN Shin's channel at least twice? Once. God, I can't keep track. I started on episode 12 with them. I only had 2 lines. It was fun. Virginia. How would I forget Virginia? Holy crap. I would get murdered for that. ID number 6. I wonder if a Dasher / Kimia is gonna have such a dominant run in the best girl category. Could be possible. Yeah, Virginia is solid. I just couldn't think at the time because I was like, I need to just throw some people on there just so I can make a form. Compared to my 100 something list of candidates in my VN form, my best girl form is like 5, maybe 6. Now you guys get to watch me create the form. Let me add a section. So, oh god, this is how it works. Basically, what I do is import a question. Or, well, if it's a new character, I don't have to. That's what I'm going to do for the next part. So what I'm going to do is duplicate the question and type Virginia. This is how you make a form, people. So, what is going on? Add a section. Yeah, there we go. Add a section. Drag Virginia down to the new section, which, there we go. It just yeeted above us. It's hard to tell because Google Forms can be a bit wonky. A bit wonky chunky. Adastra / Kimia candidates. And I luckily have photos of Virginia. Or, well, the sprite photos. You people are pervs. But I'm going to go to my PC versions of the games, which are where I reference the images. So I'm taking the images of like the sprites for the game just for usage of presentation of the character. And yeah, where are they? Where are you, Adastra? Or Kemia. I should use Kemia's, because Virginia is going to be more updated in that one. Blah, blah. Where is Sprites? How can I not tell who is who? Virginia. Let's see if she has any new ones. I'm trying to find the best one that makes her look the nicest. I'm going to go with that one. The tilt is like my favorite. And 2021. Virginia. And now we have Virginia. Virginia has been added to the popular form. And now all I have to do is add her to, which you guys can't manipulate now because the responses are off. I'm gonna wait till maybe like about 30-ish, maybe more than that, candidates are suggested. Enough so I could field an actual bracket, so it's like legitimate. Now I'm gonna go to the jury version, which is a special version where you get to have a top and bottom 5. But I'm going to go down here and import the questions, which is what I was going to do earlier. And we are going to the popular rankings and import Adastra / Kemia. Okay, and I'm probably going to have to move the section. Yep, sometimes it does that. It's okay. I can't find it. There it is. Limits, Adastra. You want to make sure everything's in order so both forms, the numbers line up so the rankings don't get mixed up with characters for different surveys. Believe me, I've been fixing that a lot. Like, the one night I spent on it in the last, like, weeks, I spent it fixing the surveys. So, hoping I don't get Doki Doki vibes with the color of the with the color scheme of the survey. Or not Doki Doki. Well, Doki Doki part of it, but hopefully I don't get Yandere Simulator vibes with this. So, Adastra and Kemia is the last one. Okay. And these are the 2 new categories. I have to add Virginia to the candidate suggestions. And we did it, boys. This is the fun part of the video, where I just sit here boring you guys to death with surveys. Yeah. So that one's going to be thrown out to the side. I'll probably open that one closer to January once I get more candidates. But feel free to suggest new candidates in the VN and non-VN categories. Well, you can suggest any character, but but women, female characters are gonna go into the best girl category. You just have to suggest them through a different survey right now. The other one will open up once it's more padded out. But anyway, guys, it's been 3 hours. I've been talking you guys zeros off. I'm going to get some food to make my stomach happy and get a slushy Slurpee. That's what they're called, Slurpee, from 7-Eleven, because there's one of those in my college town, and I am thirsty. All right, so that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, take care, guys.